Hey guys, Tyler from Destination Truth here, and this month I am committed to getting back in running shape because I've always loved running, and well, quite frankly, I'm getting out of shape and it's noticeable to me. So I'm running every day of the week, sometimes on weekends, and on some days I'm more sore than others, like today. So I'm gonna take the time out of my run to make a video because I think there's a lot to be said about the 2020 election already. The Democratic debate from last Friday was, well, that's what it was. It was, holy shit, this raven is making some crazy noises. Do you hear this? Go away, raven. It's like a damn chicken. Anyway, I'm back. Okay. I had to scare that raven away because it was getting really distracting, quite frankly. Anyways, so back to the 2020 debate. I think we learned a lot. One, the Democrats haven't learned anything at all. In fact, they've gotten farther away from their base than they were for the 2016 election, which is hard to fathom in my opinion, but they have. There's a funny meme one of my friends put out of who wants to lose the election? All of them are raising their hands for open borders. Or, yeah, I think it was for open borders. Anyway, so as of this moment, I'm going to make a pretty big statement and say that if you're watching this, if you don't see anyone else making comments below and you think Trump will lose in 2020, I am willing to bet 10 people up to $100 that Trump wins in 2020. So if you are adamant that Trump cannot win in 2020 because of everything you've seen and all the research you've done, then I am willing to take you up on a legitimate bet, and I will even use a cryptocurrency or some smart contract or whatever you want, even an escrow, I don't care. As long as it's not expensive just to do the bet, or if you're willing to just do, you know, a man's word is as good as a man's word, you know, type betting, I don't care. But I am very honest, and I'm totally willing to make this bet with 10 people. So I bet $100 that Trump is going to win. Actually, I'm willing to bet $1,000, so up to 10 people though. So hey, if you want to make some money from me, let's do it. So why do I believe that? Well, the comment I already made for one. For two, is a historical number of candidates running for president right now. Actually, over 700. It is the most ever in recorded U.S. history, and surprisingly, more of them are Republicans than Democrats, but we hear a lot more about the Democrats, obviously. So the Democrats haven't learned anything, one. For two, most of them are going so far progressive that even the most stupid moron can start realizing that these people are not progressives, they're communists. And they're not just socialists, they're communists, because they're willing to pass insane laws that if you simply make some good arguments as to, you know, how does the law work in this case if this happens, then, you know, they're always going to have to admit that they're willing to use force in order to pass such laws. So they're really wolves in sheep clothing. They're always using social justice. It's the communist handbook that says, you know, use social justice to get your way with the laws, and anyone that's an opponent of yours, slander them with all kinds of criticism such as racism, homophobia, xenophobia, bigotry. You know, they're unfaithful, incompetent, insane, literally all of it. And if you look at what's happened to Trump during his candidacy thus far, all of those things have been thrown at him, all of them. So if you can fathom there being a single person who's truly an enemy of globalism, it is Trump. And luckily Trump has the right backing. He has Jews in his corner, which will help keep him alive, I think. I think he's safe from assassins and such because he's got a lot of support. And you best believe that, by the way. If he had no real support besides his money, he'd probably be dead, or his character assassination would have worked somehow, but it hasn't, and that's because he's got a lot of support. So yeah, I made some notes because, you know, notes make better videos. So, anyway, so a great video by Bill Maher came out recently, and some articles came out based on his show, where he basically said, "Get the fuck out" to 10 people that need to just drop out of the race. And that's because he's got some great arguments. Some of these people include the Colorado governor, John Hickenlooper. I mean, just based on the name, drop out. Hickenlooper's not a good presidential name, in my opinion. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet. Apparently, there are 4 people more famous than this particular Michael Bennet, and he's a senator, so drop out of the race. Former Maryland Republican John Delaney. He's nice. A lot of people like him, but he doesn't resonate with people. He's not very memorable. He doesn't seem strong. Oh no, that crow is back. It's gonna haunt me. I've got a crow on my family sigil, so this is what happens to me sometimes, guys. I attract crows, ravens. That's a huge raven, by the way. Let me show you. There he is. Oh god. He's like a hawk. He's like a hawk. He's huge. This crow just sounds really funny, so I'm just gonna let him stay, if that's okay. Going on. So, Ohio Representative Tim Ryan. No one knows who he is. New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand. Yeah, no one knows who he is, but a lot of people in New York maybe. I don't know, but still. Kirsten Gillibrand is a nice lady, but I don't think she's gonna win. Cal Representative Eric Swalwell. Good luck. No one knows you outside of California, to my opinion. Then there's Marie Ann Williamson, a spiritual guru. Tech entrepreneur Andrew Yang should not drop out of the race. And there's some other people he mentions, but Andrew Yang is in fact the absolute best candidate the Democrats have right now. Not a joke. And keep in mind, I'm a very conservative libertarian, and I think he needs to stay in the race because he understands problems that we're going to be facing in 2020 to 2030 and beyond. He's talking, one of his most important platform promises and goals is to create something called universal income. I'm sorry, basic universal income. This bird is throwing me off. Oh my gosh. So basically he wants universal basic income. I'm forgetting the way it's usually called, UHI or something, but I don't know. But anyways, it's basically he wants to promise $1,000 a month per human adult. $1,000 a month. You don't have to work for it, you just get it. The thing is, although I think it's dystopic, disgusting, and I disagree with it right now, I unfortunately see an inevitable need for it eventually for humanity to go on, because rich people do what they want with their money, and they're researching AI. Even though people like myself and Elon Musk and many others say that AI is one of the worst things that we've worked on as a race. It is the most likely thing to bring on a devastating extinction event, for one. For two, it is the biggest threat to human happiness in existence, because human happiness is the pursuit of happiness. And some people are lazy, but some people like to work hard to get, work hard, play hard. You know how it goes. So some people really like that, and I gotta say, taking away the main driving force for getting paid is really scary, because I know a huge portion of the population will just opt out. But I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I will admit that there is a lot of credence you can lend to this universal basic income, because for one, it would create less competition in the workplace. Lazy people in general would stop working. There would be more stay-at-home moms again. It would actually improve the life of many people, I think. though it would have some dystopic side effects. But the thing is, if we don't do it, here's the thing, if we don't do it, there's going to be tens of millions of people quickly replaced by robots, such as the trucking industry, transportation in particular, you know, self-driving trucks, and especially trains, by the way. Trains are even more easily replaced than trucks. Trust me. With the uber wealthy wanting to get wealthier, they want to replace humans. They want to get rid of humans because they don't care about humans. They want more profits. So, in my opinion, AI is one of the most evil things for anyone to be pursuing at this point in time, because the only driver is profit. Anything that an AI can do, enough humans can do as well. There's certain processes that I think everyone agrees that we can get better at, that we don't need humans doing, sure. Automation in manufacturing, like cars, has to be extremely precise. One of the only companies that makes all handmade cars still to this day is Maserati. They're extremely expensive, and most people that buy Maseratis complain that parts literally fall off of them because they are poorly made. And that's because humans are not as precise as robots. And so there is certain skills that need such precision that is just so mundane, tedious, grueling work that humans don't want to do it. So you have to agree that robots have a place in the workforce, sure. But AI is going to replace so many jobs that it's truly terrifying. Not to mention, one job that should never, ever be replaced by robots, in my opinion, is military ones, where there has to be someone making the ethical and moral decision to pull a trigger to end a human's life. But guess what? Governments are already passing these things into action. I mean, there's already drones that are run entirely on AI. And we haven't heard, this is like mostly clandestine stuff that we don't know about, but I've heard and read quite a few articles about AI drones already being in existence and being used. So that's scary, because we've known from drones being researched, AI research groups, that drones make very poor decisions based on things sometimes. For example, there's a famous, I don't know if it's famous, but a case where an AI was determining whether a dog was a wolf or not. And one particular picture was a clear husky. It didn't look very much like a wolf. It was a husky. And the reason why the AI got it wrong and said it was a wolf had nothing to do with the husky. It had to do with the fact that it was in snow. It was surrounded by snow, so it was more likely to be a wolf. Anyway, so Andrew Yang's very intelligent, and I think he's ready to help the American people deal with very futuristic problems. So even if he doesn't win this election, I think he should run again. Honestly, he's the best candidate the Democrats have, because he's a centrist. He's one of the few Democrats that are not for open borders. He understands taxes fairly well. He understands that a small amount of money could pass this universal basic income bill that he has, and we could cut spending in many, many other ways if we did that, such as SSI and disability type stuff, like a lot of things that basically are just welfare. Food stamps, for example. So anyway, he thinks the budget is basically already ripe for this happening and taking place. And again, just to put icing on the cake, it would be beneficial for some families. Sorry, something got in my mouth. Sorry if this guy is super distracting. I'm sorry. I think it's kind of funny though. So going on to my last points here. Trump is so capable of basically simple character assassination that he has like no competitors that he can't take out in a heartbeat, such as Colonel Sanders. We got Pocahontas. We got Sleepy Joe. There's plenty others here, but I mean, most of the other candidates are basically so socialist. They're so socialist right now that I think it's important that I bring this up. Every time you talk to anyone, communist, socialist, you name it, whenever you start talking about fascism, and I haven't had any debates with anyone about fascism, but I've listened to some good debates about fascism. And it's funny because the only argument that they have against fascism, the only argument, is one. It's called the purity spiral. And they believe that any fascistic government, which is nationalist socialist, meaning they believe in the nation state versus hating nation states and wanting a one world government, they believe that the purity spiral will make people basically get at each other's throats, yada yada yada, for not being pure enough. And I think it is hilarious that we're already there. We're that socialist, guys. Just look at the Democratic Party. They're eating themselves alive. Like, literally, they're attacking each other so much right now that it's, like, hilarious. So, they're already in a purity spiral. There's really no hope for them right now. 99% of the candidates are insane, so progressive that their constituents have lost faith in them. It's only young, stupid millennials, I hate to say it, people in this city, San Francisco, and around the country that are just brainwashed by their professors, brainwashed to believe complete and utter nonsense. So it's really sad how strong propaganda is, but when you get told something enough times, like Joseph Goebbels said, tell a lie once and it's a lie, tell it 1,000 times and it becomes a truth. So these people do believe they're defending the truth and reality, yada yada yada. But there is a red pill that I'm holding for you guys, and I just want to give it to you because truth is here. It's all around you. It's so easy to Google reality and what's really going on in the world around you and how the world really works. And hopefully you grow out of your phase if you're a socialist of any kind, and you realize that you've been told lies and that reality is black and white. You can understand the world for what it is, not to say that there isn't nuance. There's infinite layers of gray zone in everything on this planet, and the reality of things is the best world for everyone is a free one where everyone has the ability to choose what they want to do, and it's not perfect. There's no such thing as perfection in this world. It's what God gave us. This is a testing ground to see what you're gonna do. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, but it is paradise. And wherever there is true freedom, freedom of market, you will have the best quality of anything. Just look at how Europeans still to this day come to America for learning, for higher education in medicine and other degrees as well. Even though they have free education, they come here. So just remember that and keep that in mind. Yeah, in closing, thank you for watching, and if you agree that Trump's gonna win in 2020, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, because I got a lot more content like this coming at you, because there's nothing that really riles me up like an election. Yeah, that's it. Over and out, guys. Have a good night.